It's wonderful in the wintertime to enjoy some blooms from some of your favorite bulbs, and you can enjoy those indoors quite easily. It's called forcing, and it works because bulbs are designed with all the nutrients they need to produce leaves and flowers included in their little capsule. So one of the easiest bulbs to force is the Amaryllis, and you can force it in glass forcing jars like this. You'll cut off some of the really dried out roots and put the Amaryllis bulb in the jar so that the water is not touching the bulb. That's very important. Water will tend to rot the bulb. You just have it so that the roots are barely in the water, and the roots will continue to grow and really fill up the jar. You'll put it in a cool place for several weeks, and you'll start to get a sprout coming out of, it's actually a bloom stalk. And once that happens, then you'll move this to a bright indirect light area and turn the vase frequently so that the stalk will not grow toward the light. It will tend to stay straighter. So when you have enjoyed your blooms, now in a big bulb like this, a jumbo-sized bulb, sometimes you'll get 3 bloom stalks. Change the water if it starts to look murky or dirty, and clean the vase if that needs to happen. But as each bloom stalk finishes blooming, cut that off and then wait, and you may get another bloom and then another bloom. So that's really fun. After you have used the bulbs like this, it's best to go ahead and put them out in the garden so that they can recuperate. They'll need to put on foliage and get the bulb ready with nutrients for next year's bloom. You can also plant the Amaryllis in pots, and this is a great way to go. It's actually easier than doing it in the vase. And in pots, it's very important that the bulb, just like in the ground, is planted so that the neck and shoulders of the bulb are actually out of the soil. And even when you plant it in the garden, you want that. Now this bulb has actually been in this pot for several years, and now it's got little babies on either side. So these bloomed for us last winter. We left them outside all summer long so that they had a chance to store nutrients, fed them regularly with liquid and with a soil application of fertilizer. And now we're letting them dry out, just taking them away so that they're not getting water and moisture, and letting the foliage die back. And once the foliage starts to look really yellowish and brownish, trim it off, and then put new potting soil around the top. Take out the old potting soil, put some new potting soil in, and let it sit in a cool, dark place without water for a couple of weeks. It usually takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to go really dormant, and then you'll do the same thing. Water it, keep it in that dark place until it sprouts, and then move it to a brighter location. Now you can also force other bulbs. Things like narcissus, the little mini narcissus will do well. Big daffodils do not. Pack them in tightly in the pot and then put some potting soil, water them once, let them sprout, move them to a brighter place once they sprout. Tulips do well too. Now tulips and hyacinths you need to chill, so those will have to be chilled for 4 to 6 weeks in the refrigerator so that they will bloom. So it's best to chill them before you pot them up. With the tulips, they have a flat side and then there's a more rounded side. And I like to put the flat side toward the container. You'll get a fuller, more luxurious looking plant if you do it that way. Put the soil on, let them sprout in the dark, and then move them to bright light. You can also root narcissus and hyacinth and crocus on in containers with a little pebbles. You can also buy these beautiful jars and put your bulbs in these, and they work the same way as the Amaryllis. So you'll enjoy beautiful, fragrant flowers all winter long by forcing bulbs.